We want to encourage you to hang here with us for just a few moments. Once again, this gives us an opportunity to share a verse or two, a thought or two, hopefully something that's going to encourage you as you continue on the path in your walk with Jesus Christ. And so, incredible days we're living in, amazing things are happening around the globe. And we've been spending the last few days in the 6th chapter of Ephesians. Let me just share one verse with you. Well, let me share a couple with you, but just focus on one. In verse 10, Paul writing to the church of Ephesus, saying, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." Verse 11 says, "Put on the whole armor of God that you might be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." And then verse 12 says this, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Your wife, your husband, your neighbors, those that you go to church with, your kids, they're not your enemy. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Satan doesn't live in hell as some movies would depict or suggest. He is, according to Ephesians 2, verse 2, the prince of the power of the air. The air, that is his place of dominion. That's the place where if he has any rule, that's the place he has it. And so I just want to remind you of this morning. Our fight, our wrestling is not with people. Let me read you a couple verses, and this is out of Mark chapter 4. Jesus has gone through a whole day of parables of, he says in verse 3 of Mark 4, "Behold, a sower went forth to sow," and he talks about the word of God being a seed, and he goes through some different parables. Toward the end of the evening, he's exhausted. He says to the disciples, right around Mark 4:35, he puts them in a boat and he says, "Let us cross over to the other side." He himself goes down into the boat and goes to sleep on a pillow in the stern of the boat. Well, while he's sleeping, a great storm comes down upon the Sea of Galilee. I think we know the story. And the disciples are panicking. These are veteran fishermen. They've seen storms before. They've dealt with squalls before. But this is something that they really were convinced was going to completely capsize the boat, and they weren't going to see the next morning. And then in Mark 4, verses 38 and 39, listen to this. It says this, "But Jesus was asleep in the stern on a pillow. And they awoke him, and they said unto him, Teacher, Master, Rabbi, do you not care that we're perishing?" Now listen to this. "Then he arose, and he rebuked the wind, and he said to the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." That's the way you and I need to handle the life that we live. Listen to what Jesus did. He rebuked the wind. He said to the sea, Peace, be still. He rebuked the wind. He rebuked what he couldn't see, but he just spoke to the sea, that which he could see, and said, Peace. You and I need to take that just as an example of how we want to live our lives. Because again, our fight is not against flesh and blood. It's not against people. It is against the spirit realm. It is against spiritual wickedness in high places. Jesus was able to rebuke what he couldn't see, the wind. We can't see the wind. We can see the result of wind, but we can't see the wind. He rebuked what he couldn't see, but he just spoke to what he could see. Listen, we want to take authority, rebuke the enemy's works, rebuke the enemy's lies, rebuke the enemy's influence and tactics, but we want to speak peace to the people in our lives. We want to gently, calmly speak peace so that calmness will come to them. Sometimes when there's tension, sometimes when there's pressure, we get it opposite. We start yelling and screaming at each other and completely bypass the fact that it's possible that the enemy had some influence here. So we'll leave you with that today. We want to rebuke what we can't see, stand in the authority that we have in his name, and deal with those things that we can't see from that perspective, but we want to speak peace to what we can see, the people in our lives, our loved ones, our neighbors, our friends, those that we worship with on Sunday morning or any other time. God bless you, and we'll catch you next time.